When Ed returned to Vinny and Carl's house, he found Myra lying down upstairs. His sister told him that Myra wasn't feeling well. His sister was already making arrangements for their family doctor to check her out and make certain everything was okay. Ed knew he had to leave the next morning to prepare for delivery and get the ranch hands ready for storing and laying the new topsoil. When he told Vinny he would change his plans and stay with Myra until she was better, she reassured him that Myra was in good hands. Vinny's twin daughters, Eva and Erica, were Myra's constant nurses, taking care of her every need. With concern, but without worry, they enjoyed the rest of their visit and spent time with his family, glad they'd come. He and Myra talked before bedtime, and Myra was adamant that he return home to begin work. Looking back, Ed realized that it was in the small moments that memories are made. Ed was making one of those moments that night. They talked about the possibility of growing the best the earth could spring forth. They dreamed of filling their farm with people from all over the county, grabbing and inspecting and enjoying their farm's bounty. They were silent for thanks for having lived in the joy of giving the best they could to each other, their family and friends, and their community. It was 2 days later when Myra called. He remembered the tone of her voice when she asked him to come and pick her up and bring her home. He wanted to ask about the news from the doctor, but he wanted to look in her eyes when he did. When Ed played those tones and inflections over in his mind, he could still see her face saying the words, "Bring me home." When he reached Vinny's, Myra was sitting on the front porch swing, looking at the children playing in the yard. Eva and Erica's dark hair blowing in the wind and bouncing as if in slow motion. They chased each other around the yard. Vincent, their son, was further up the driveway waxing his car. The lawn looked freshly cut, almost like carpet that led up the steps to where Carl sat on the porch steps, looking Ed in the eye somberly when he pulled into the driveway. Ed looked in Myra's eyes as Vinny held Myra's hand, and he knew. Their clock began. From this day forward, every second counted. That moment created a photograph that his mind clung to for years. Each morning the air was thick with floral fragrance. Often Myra would gather a few bloom flowers and take them to a neighbor as a gift or as a hello. She would soon hear back that the flowers had indeed brightened an otherwise ordinary day, giving Myra that special smile that meant she'd been right. The flowers were as much a part of the farm's bounty as all the vegetation. Maybe one day she could sell arrangements she created for her. No doubt the biggest upcoming need for flowers would be for her. Well, they could be a part of the market in bundles, if not in arrangements. That was the first time Myra realized what she'd be leaving behind. Oddly, all she felt was inner peace. Things will work out. The farm will be successful. 2 years later. It was Saturday morning, all hands on deck. They opened market at 5 a.m. and Ed was already in full press to make the first market day a success. 2 years had gone by so fast, and now it was here. He had driven the ranch hands hard to get everything ready. All the signs were posted throughout town, and Ed had even given samples of his bounty at church for a month straight to get the town talking. It was Myra's suggestion to give them samples to get them excited to come out. It was her wish. When Ed opened the fence to the property, it was less than 10 minutes before car after truck, on foot and in carts, they came, and they continued to come. Did you see how many people came? Did you see how they wanted us? I know. I couldn't believe it. Even they had a good day. What are you talking about? If anything, it was our samples that brought them out here. Really? Really? I don't think so. You don't think. Excuse me? Sorry, it's been a rough week. For all of us. Yeah, get over yourself. Because from now on, we are the stars of the county. We? Yeah, we. This is our time to shine, and I fully intend to do just that. I bet you that next week, they'll sell out of me faster than they do you. First of all, not. Second of all, I'll take that bet. Under every full moon, these raging debates took place. Neither Ed nor the ranch hands could hear or see what the earth had indeed given bounty to. Noe leaned against the fence and smiled as the acreage came to life under the stars. He returned to his truck, packed with all he owned, waved to all the new life and said, "See you around." As he drove off, the corn complained, as usual, about the road dust. "I am so over this location. Can we get some pavement surrounding this property or what?" The trees, standing as centurions, laughed at the almost constant complaining of the corn, and the potatoes for that matter. Honestly, they mused amongst themselves, they think too highly of themselves. The night has a life of its own, but that's an understatement at the Brigham farm. Life exists in a unique way in the acres of flowers, trees, fruit, and vegetation. Ed had poured himself into every square acre, turning the soil to introduce the new blend Noe had given him. He also found the fertilizer Noe had generously insisted Ed take as a gift was quick to fuel the field's growth activity. In less than 2 years, his field was thriving. When Ed was sure that things were as Myra wanted, he set up the farm's entrance area as a market stand for folks to enjoy their farmer's market, their hard work. Myra transitioned 3 days after the first full harvest. She spent 2 of her last 3 days, from sunup to sunset, wandering the farm with Ed, smiling from ear to ear and planning, always planning, so that Ed could be prepared to go it alone. Myra began to turn on the radio she kept in the kitchen and placed it in the window so that it could be heard as you passed the house. On days where there were no equipment wailing through the fields, the radio could be heard throughout the farm. Every day she changed the station right before she made breakfast. It was a habit that Ed continued when he mourned her. Every morning Ed turned it on, changing the station daily, to honor her the way he knew would make her feel honored. He gave all he had to making harvest time the talk of the county. Ed had done so much more. Much, much more. The radio was jamming today. Boogie Wonderland. Ah, ah, ah. Boogie Wonderland. All the elements are hit makers. Oh, you have such a pretty voice. I'd love to hear you sing. Sing that song, "We Are Family. I got all my sisters with me." They were sisters, too. Thank you so much for those kind words. You're all so nice. Well, it's the truth. Go on, sing another song. We'll all back you up. Go ahead. Hey, when we all join in, our perfume rises in the air. It makes every day special. True, true. What shall we sing? Oh, I know. Uptown Funk's gonna give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Ow! Too funky for myself. Come on, it's a great song. How about "Long Neck Bottle, Let Go of My Hand"? I love a good country song. I'd like something with a little backbeat. How about "My Anaconda Don't, My Anaconda Don't"? No, we'll have none of that. Nikki is the business. I'm not a hater, trust me. But we can't all sing on that particular hip-hop gem, sorry. Oh, I know. I'm right here. Ain't nobody gonna hold you, 'cause I'm right here. Ain't nobody gonna control you. He sounds dreamy. Since you're budding, I'll let you have one Bieber selection. Doesn't mean we'll choose it, but we love that you want in. Hey, he's not better than that Enrique guy. His songs are always a hit with me. Would you dance if I ask you to dance? Would you run and never look back? All good choices. But if we're all singing, how about somewhere there is music, how faint the tune? Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon? There is no moon above where love is far away too. Till it comes true that you love me and I love you. The vegetation sat listening to the flowers, enjoying their fragrance and melodies usually put an end to most disagreements. The fruit trees dropped sweet treats onto the ground as they swayed in the night breezes. The flowers had a way of blanketing beauty throughout the farm. All agreed they were indeed a welcome addition. Every night we listen to you tell us the field report. You act like we're not in the same field you are. Be that as it may, my family is closest to where the Tuesday meeting happens, and we hear in detail what the plans are for the farm. The plans are to harvest in harvest time and plant during planting time. Duh. Okay, so what is the report so we can move on? Well, since the market is doing so well, the ranch hands are going to start putting signs and posters in further counties so more people will come. I knew it. I knew it. When they added the flower stand, it made all the difference. The beauty of a bouquet makes people so happy. Flowers are not the reason people are coming in droves. Flowers don't make people flock to a farmer's market. You are the decor used to highlight the wonderful food they'll prepare when they get us home. So what you saying? Is flowers are just an afterthought? Gee, I wonder how many paintings in the most renowned museums have pictures of potatoes, yams, watermelons, and corn, huh? How many? The most famous artists the world has ever known have featured my kinfolk, so recognize. So more people are coming. Good. That means that we are on mission. The weather report says we'll be getting rain next week, so make sure that your seedlings are properly spread. I'll turn the meeting over to the ground report from the potatoes. Hold on. I have urgent business before we start digging in the dirt. Did anyone notice or care that we were over harvested? The next rain could be disastrous to my family. I've all but been screaming about berry abuse. I want to know what's going to be done about it. Well, as I've told you at our last 8 meetings, it's really up to Ed and not us to harvest as he sees fit. What, as I have asked you for the last 8 meetings, do you want us to do? Do something. Anything. Here's something. The ground report, please. Just plain disrespectful. You'll see. Wait till it happens to you. You'll see then. You know, I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed that the tomatoes have been drawing a lot of unwanted insect attention lately. You all should really do a better job of keeping yourselves bug free. It's getting irritating. Come over here and say that. I dare you. I'll snatch you and your multi-petaled cousins up by the root. Blah, blah, blah. You ain't gonna do jack. What you need to do is take better advantage of the soil and clean yourself up. Just because you are low to the earth doesn't mean you should look lowly. I am so sick of you. Pay attention to your side of the field. I got this. One night. Can't we have one night where we don't waste time with your back and forth drama? I believe it was Hindu Prince Gautama Siddhartha, the founder of Buddhism, who said a family is a place where the minds come in contact with one another. If these minds love one another, the home will be as beautiful as the flowers in the garden. But if these minds get out of harmony with one another, it's like a storm that plays havoc with the garden. See, the garden needs harmony. We are not a family, and I don't give a hill of beans about making a harmonious family with any of you. Oh, sorry, beans. Whatever. Well, all I know is we are here, we are magnificent, and we are the best anywhere around. Seems to me we should show a little love toward each other, since we all have duties to fulfill. Now, can we please have the ground report?